Hey guys, welcome. I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to break down a kids class, specifically the instruction portion of it. I've spoken to tons of people over the years of how to teach kids, and I have a master's in special education. I've been teaching kids for a very long time, and this I figured would be a cool way for people to discuss, ask some questions, see what I do to work with kids, and kind of get an idea of how to navigate a room. A lot of this has to do more with the management side of things rather than the jiu-jitsu side of things. However, there's still good jiu-jitsu content in here. Also, this class is difficult, and I wanted to show this one rather than an easy one. The reason it's difficult is because the ages range from 6 to 11. And if you work with kids at all, you know that that is a very big range as far as their development goes, both athletically, socially, behaviorally, all of things, right? So essentially what happens is the younger kids are very impressionable and the older kids want to go, 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 go. The older kids are less patient and the new kids follow the older kids. So the older kids get the games like that. They get the instruction real quick and they just want to go, which is awesome. And if it was just 11-year-olds, I would do that. But I also have 6 and 7-year-olds, and I got to make sure they're all good. They're very impressionable. So when the 11-year-olds want to go, and I'm like, you need to pump the brakes for a minute, they get antsy, they act up, the little ones follow them. It's a whole thing. So this is me managing that. This is what I do day in and day out when I teach the kids, when I teach this class, right? If I show my other classes, it's like, there's nothing, it's just a class. It's nothing special there. But this one noticeably is we just came back from New Year's. So this is the first class back. I haven't seen them in a few weeks. And this is me instructing them. All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back. Everybody have a good New Year? Yeah. Is everybody going to be focused on that instead of me? So immediately, there's something different. I don't normally have a microphone on and my camera and my tripod posted up in front of the class. So they're all very interested right away. So I'm just going to let them check it out. Now, I'm actually going to take the video down here because a bunch of them want to jump in and say hello. So I literally will just walk right up to them. I'm going to take the mic off and let them talk. Okay, go check it out. It's a tripod. It's a camera. For now.
Can we say hi to the filmers?
Here. You say hi.
Hi, guys.
There you go. It's not live.
What's up?
There you go. All right.
Go ahead. So, that's a rifle. What's up, bro?
They're all running in front of the camera now.
All right. It's not live, but all right. All right. We all got that out of our system. You want to say hi?
Go ahead. Say hi. So now this seems silly, but just if they're interested in something, don't hide it from them. Just let them interact with it. It'll get it out of their system a lot quicker, and they're not going to be so fixated on it because I'm going to record the rest of the class, and I don't want them to be constantly messing around with it and trying to experience it. Just let them talk, let them have fun, let them do the thing. If this 30 seconds or however long this took is going to save you headaches later on. And then it's not as interesting. It's not as like crazy. It's like, okay, he's just recording it. Not a big deal.
Hi, bro.
All right, so I got my little microphone here. So guys, just a reminder. Hey guys, just a reminder. We're on the wall. If you want to stand, that's fine. We're either seated or we're standing. Eyes up here. If you have a question, raise your hand. I'm talking right now. I'm giving instruction. Then we'll get started. So guys, what did I just say? What did I just say, bud?
No talking while the coach is talking.
What did I just say?
Don't talk when the coach is
And what were you doing?
talking.
So what are you going to stop?
Talking.
Got it. All right.
Okay, so right away, immediately, we're into some behavior management here. And watching this back, I could have done some things better immediately, and I'll explain what that is. But first thing, really simple. I already know all these kids. So if this was a brand new group of kids, I would spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes explaining the rules of the class and how it's going to go. These guys have had them all. They know what's up. Basically, the expectation is when I'm giving instruction, I'm very quick. I'm as quick as it needs to be, right? I'm not going to talk for a long time, and they know that, and it's a good back and forth. But the expectations are they're against that brick wall. So if you've watched the other videos, you know that there's in our gym, there's a brick wall back there. They're against the brick wall. They can be seated, they could be standing, but they can't be laying down. They can't be, spinning around, touching stuff. It's just, either stand or sit, totally fine. And eyes and ears up front. That's it. Real simple. They shouldn't be talking. They shouldn't be doing anything. If they have a question, they want to ask it, they can raise their hand. I'll call on them. So it was just a very quick reminder of the expectations. I've had all these guys, some of them maybe less than a month, but a lot of them I've had for a year. So they know and they look for each other. So it's just a quick reminder. And then immediately one of the kids started talking and was ignoring that. So I, with a smile on my face and very calmly, just looked over to him and was like, hey, bud, remind me, what did I just say? Right. And it's not like an accusatory or a bad thing. I just want to see if he was listening or not. Did he hear me? Right. And he heard me and he parroted back what I said. And I made sure he understood that. Now, what I could have done better is it's a subtle thing, but I said, what are you going to stop doing? Here, let me just back that up. What are you going to stop doing?
So what are you going to stop?
What are you going to stop? That's not good. It's not, you should say, what should you be doing? Okay. So sitting, keeping your mouth closed, listening, those are all good things. I shouldn't have said, what should you stop doing? Because what happens is his mind's going to start thinking, okay, I need to stop talking. And he's going to keep thinking about stop to not do something. And that's really hard to not do something when it's in your head. Just like in the beginning when the camera was out, it's really hard not to go for kids, right? Oh, there's a microphone, there's a tripod, there's a camera. Like, what is all going? I want to check this out. Just let them check it out. Let them ask the questions. And during this entire class, people were asking me questions between the rounds, which is totally cool. During the instruction, they weren't, right?
Got it. All right. So
Coach
first
Stan,
game, guys. I want to get you guys right back into it. Have some fun. So here's what we're going to do. First game, you're going to start, attacking player is going to start with their hands clasped around the other player's waist, behind them. Okay, I'm behind them. All right. My job, I have two ways to win. I want to destabilize him, meaning I want to get him unbalanced.
I don't shy away from using the words that we use with the adults. It's always good to increase a kid's vocabulary, and that has nothing to do with jiu-jitsu per se, but these are words that we use in jiu-jitsu. I use destabilize, I use off balance, in this case, unbalanced, whatever. Use those words. All these kids have heard these words before. If they haven't, I would explain it real quick. I would give them an example. They know what it means, so we've used it. So I'll use it that way. But don't shy away from using vocabulary. Give them alternate, synonyms of the words when you use the big words that they might not know, especially like a 6, 7-year-old probably hasn't heard destabilize. Explain what that is.
And I either want to put his butt on the floor, so sit him down, or put his hands on the floor.
Butt on the floor for the little guys it catches their attention because butt's still not so kind of an iffy bad word there. So they're at the age where it's okay. So it's an active choice to use those kinds of words. If the class is all younger, or if I know that they're too silly that they can't handle that, they've heard that. I test out things. I've used that before. They're fine. If I had a class of kids that I didn't know, or if they were way too silly, I would just say sit them down. Sit them to the floor. I like to say butt on the floor because that's exactly what we're doing. We're putting their butt on the floor, right? So I can see what's happening. The kids can see what success is.
If I can get him to put his hands on the floor.
So hands on floor.
Or if I can get him if I can sit him down.
And that time I use sit him down, right? So different words meaning the same thing, different instructions so they can kind of wrap their heads around it.
That's a win for me instantly. Okay? Defending.
The okay is just a quick, that's my way of seeing if there's any confusion, right? Okay, just scan the room. Any confusion, we're good to go.
Player, your job, what do we do when someone's behind us?
So we've talked about this a million times. What should we do when someone's behind us? And even though this is the first class back, I'm asking them, I'm getting them to interact with the instruction now to see, are you still... Do you remember what the objectives are? Because they should know. We've talked about it a bunch of times, at least the kids that have been training for 2 months or more, right? They're going to experience it right away. Like we always do something, we're attacking from the back, but they should know these things. So it's how to get them involved in the instruction so they're not just sitting there bored. It's only been, this whole video has only been 1:50, but that's a long time for kids to sit. As crazy as that sounds, right? So they're sitting there, they're listening. This class is tough, so I want to make sure they get involved. This is how I'm getting them back in. Hey, we're back at jiu-jitsu. It's been a while. Let me get you thinking. Let me get your brain working again, thinking about interacting with another human being.
Has us held. What I heard that. What was it? Break the grips and then what? And do what?
Turn around.
Turn around. Yeah, turn it.
So one of the kids said, break the grips. I usually like to use remove the connections, but it's the same thing. It works. They all get it. And then somebody else shouted out escape. That is okay, but it's not, what does that mean? What does escape look like? Am I running outside? Am I eating a bowl of noodles? Like, what does it look like? Right. And I know I'm being a little silly here, but it's important so the kids can understand, what does a win look like? What does success look like? And then somebody shouted out, turn around. Now, noticeably, in this kind of scenario, I'm not waiting for the kids to raise their hand and answer. When I ask a question like that and I'm scanning the room, I'm just letting them shout out. And they can, because of my interactions with them, they kind of know when I'm expecting that or when I'm expecting a hands raised. So if I'm and here's how I use it for you, for if you're watching this, like, when do you do what, right? If I'm in front of the class and I'm actively talking and I'm like interacting with the other coach and I'm showing the games, at that point, if you have a question, the expectation is you're raising a hand, right? If I'm asking a question to the class and I'm scanning the room, they can go ahead and shout out the answers, and that's fine. But once I hear the right answer, I'm going to stop everybody from talking and say, wait, who said that? I heard the right answer somewhere. And I'll look in the area where I saw it, and maybe a couple kids will shout out the answers, and then I'll say, okay, James, you got it right? Or Jimmy, you got it right. Yeah, that's it. So break the hands, turn and face.
And face. So strip the grips, turn and face the other person. If the defensive player does that, they win, okay? If anybody wins, we're going to switch offense, defense.
A parent came in and did it.
It's okay. It's okay. If anybody,
It happens often.
If there's any wins, we're going to switch offense, defense. Any questions?
No.
We're going to do a big 6-minute round to get going because I think some people are just walking in. All right? We got it? Hands up. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to pause there because they immediately run on the camera. But yeah, a nice 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, let's go. Something to, get the kids getting ready and transitioning to the next phase of the class. Okay. So real simple, nothing. I'm actually going to keep going. We'll go to the other videos here. Let's see. I don't have any footage of them playing. I don't feel, technically our gym has like a photo release or a video release or anything or something, but I don't feel super comfortable, just filming that. That might just be my teacher background in me. Not allowed to film kids in schools. So no need to see them playing the game. Again, this is more for the instruction side of things. There's clearly kids on the other side of this. So I don't know if you guys are interested in seeing it with the kids, leave a comment below. Maybe I can arrange something and get like a certain group of kids in there. Like I can advertise like an extra class. If you're okay with your kid being on camera, come to this class kind of thing. And that would work for me. But let me know if you're interested. All right, let's keep going.
Guys, good job with that. So next game, listen up. Next game.
Hi, guys.
Next game. Listen. Next game. We're going to do the same exact win condition, but we're going to start in a slightly different situation. For those of us that just walked in, we're trying to put our opponent, we're trying to sit them down or put them on get their hands to the floor. So destabilize them to their butt or hands on the floor.
So it's hard for the mic to pick up, but some of the kids are getting a little rowdy already. And that's me glancing back and forth, and they're catching my eyes, I'm catching their eyes. It's subtle, it's quick, it's nonverbal, and that's usually the first line of defense. It's hard to assess in the moment, and it takes skill and it takes a long time of teaching. But everyone has behaviors for different reasons. Now, if a kid is talking because they want attention, I'm going to respond differently to that than if a kid is talking because they want social interaction with a peer, or they're talking because they're trying to delay getting back to work, right? Work avoidance. And there's a bunch of other things that could be possible too. to assess that in the moment is difficult, and how you respond to that depends as well. For example, if I have a kid talking because of attention, I'm going to make sure I give them attention, but in a more appropriate manner in a different time. So I'm going to make sure that I get around to all the kids, but I'm going to make sure that like I go up to them, I give them a high five. Not that I don't do it for the rest of the kids, but I'm going to really make sure that I get to that one kid, right? I'm going to say like James needs a high five. Like every time we reset, he needs a high five. Like he just needs some kind of assurance that I got eyes on him, or that Coach Dan has eyes on him. It's a real simple thing, and it'll stop them from talking in between rounds, right? Because they're craving the attention, but they're receiving it in an appropriate way. In between rounds, when they're doing the stuff that they're supposed to be doing, maybe when they're done and they sat the whole time and they were quiet and they were listening while I was giving the instruction. Hey, high five. Awesome. Now, if you have a kid that's talking because they just want to talk to their friend, that's different. And you'll see me adjust some things here and there. I might give them a warning. I might have them move. But the first line of defense it'll be a nonverbal kind of cue that I just gave. Just making eye contact with them, putting my hand up, just lets them to stop talking. Doesn't need to be anything major. It's just, I see you, you see me, you're doing something you're not supposed to do right now. I need you to stop. Okay. I don't yell at kids. I don't I'm stern with them, but I don't yell at kids. I can count on one hand how many times in 17 years that I've yelled at kids, and they're for egregious and or safety concerns. And honestly, when I'm yelling for safety, I don't even consider that yelling. That's like, I need your attention now. I'm not yelling out of like anger, right? So it's more just like an attention grabber. And the reason I don't yell is because when I do yell, it is an attention grabber, right? So it's very limited amount of time. Very, 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 very rare that I will yell at kids or anyone for that matter, okay? Because I want my voice to mean something. Now, there's some people that can yell all the time and it still means something, right? It's different approaches. It's not my approach, okay? You'll see I'll later on in the videos.
This next game, we're going to start with any kind of 2-on-1 grip.
Real quick, also, we had some kids that walked in late, so I was just explaining the last game very quickly. They've trained a bunch before for years, so like I can explain the game real quick for them like that, and they got it. That's if my whole class was 11-year-olds and learned like that, that would be pretty much. I do a little bit longer instruction. I would say just like some areas to focus on. Kind of when you see my adult instructional videos, like or instruction interactions. You'll see like, okay, I want you to focus on this. I want you to focus on that. I'll give the kids that instruction too, but very, very quickly. They don't need as much. They don't need to hear it a million times. They just hear, they do.
So for the new people in the room, what that means is 2 of my hands connected to one of their arms. That can look like this. That can look like this.
Same game we played.
That can look like this. That can look like a bunch of things. You guys can play around and get creative. But some kind of 2-on-1, okay? My job is the same thing. I want to look to get to his body and then look to put his hands on the floor or sit him down. If I do that, I win. His job is the same as before. He wants to, as the defensive player, strip all the grips and turn and face me into a neutral position, meaning that we're equal. Does that make sense? I saw some hands raised.
So, great. I was talking about that before. When I'm talking, they're not shouting out, they're raising hands, okay? And then they know that I'll call on them, which takes time, but the hands raising only works if you then eventually call on them, okay? Now, it can be annoying, it can be frustrating. If you're new at this, you see a bunch of kids with their hands up, right? You can say, guys, I'll take questions in a second. You can put your hands down. But then you need to take their questions. Don't say that and then not take your questions. Or you could say, guys, I'm not taking questions right now. Please put your hands down. That's perfectly fine. But whatever you say, follow up with.
What's up? Is it a question about the game? Ask me after. Ask me after. Yes.
So that kid, I'll beep his name out. That kid came in late and he was curious about the phone. So I had to do the whole thing. And so he, if it's not about the game or if it's a different question, I'll answer it later.
If you need to get water, go get some water. Any questions about the game? Any questions about the game?
So again, he started asking about, he was very, very impatient. He really wanted to check out the phone.
All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
So I just made the executive decision to call it there because I'm starting to lose them. The older kids were getting antsy. The younger kids wanted to start asking questions on like, why do I have tape on my foot? And what did I do yesterday? Like they'll start doing that, right? You're going to lose them. They're going to go wild. Nope, stop. Let's go. The kids that want to ask questions, they can just ask me. The kids that want to go play, which they're going to go do, they're going to go play. All these kids will be rolling within seconds, right? They're going to ask me questions real quick. I'm going to answer it real quick, redirect them back to class, and they'll get to work. One other thing is one of the frustrating things that I need to work on is the kids. I have just in between rounds, it's when you get your water, it's when you go to the bathroom, okay? The kids, for some reason, like forget that every time. I say that they can bring their water bottles into the gym, which you can see in the corner there. They don't. As long as there's water in there, you can bring it into the gym. They leave it outside in the little foyer that we have. So, I mean, it takes a lot of reminders. I only see these group of kids once a week, so it's not like an everyday thing. So this is, and then I haven't seen them in a month, right? Just because I had an absence, and then Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve happened to fall on the same day that I had them, so classes were canceled those days, and yeah.
What are you doing? Go have a seat.
So this is an excellent example of why you should be prepared. I completely forgot the game that I was going to instruct right now. And my phone is being used to record, so I can't check. So I'm buying time right now. And unfortunately, when you are not ready to go, that's when behaviors emerge, right? So because I'm not quick on the draw here, the kids are kind of acting up, and I'm like, shoot, what were we going to do? And I end up just calling an audible, and it ended up being an excellent game. So I'm actually kind of happy with this, but be prepared. Know what you got to do. Write it down, keep it on a little piece of paper on the side, or write it on your phone. And if you're not recording, you have access to your phone, but get ready for the next game. Okay. This is my fault. Self-correcting each other, or like they're saying shh to each other, that's the best form of behavior management you are ever going to get. If you can have the kids politely and correctly correct each other, you're good to go. They can't be like, yo, shut up, bro. Like, he's trying to talk. Stop, shut up. Like, that's not okay. But if they're just like, quick, like, hey, teacher's talking, coach is talking, that's the best, right? Because kids are going to respond a lot better to other kids correcting them. And also, we're in a jiu-jitsu gym, so like the respect level is usually higher than a random classroom, right?
What are you doing? Go have a seat. All right, next game. We're going to go...
The other thing, too, is sometimes it's not perfect. Just get into the instruction. It'll get some of the kids' like brains going, and they'll be like, oh, shoot, I'm supposed to sit down and listen. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. It might not be the best approach. I don't know. It works for me.
To the floor. All right.
They all stop talking and they're listening.
Why? Okay. Thank you. I'll consult with my editor and we'll figure it out. All right. Let me get.
They they were watching the camera still, and I had already started it, so they don't realize that I can just edit out things.
Yeah. Perfect. So
I'm still thinking of a game.
Next game, guys. We're gonna. I see a lot of people not paying attention right now.
I'm still thinking.
So guys, the expectations is that you're sitting
like
on the
if
wall,
I knew what I was doing,
quietly looking up here.
I'm reminding them of the expectations. This is my fault right now. Okay. Straight up. This is 100% on me. I am buying time because I don't know what we're going to play.
For the rest of the time, I don't bug you guys. I'll let you play. But right now, you need to pay attention. Got it?
I'm making it up.
Got it? All right. So then why am I hearing people? Thank you. So we have a seated player.
Still thinking.
You guys done?
Now, they shouldn't be talking, right? But I should be ready to go.
I have a seated player versus a standing player. Okay.
Just thought of the game.
For those of us that are new at jiu-jitsu, this is a guarded situation. A guard is any time the bottom player, a seated player, or on the back,
some guys
has their legs between me and their upper body. Okay. So this is a guard. All right. We're gonna start. The bottom player is gonna connect shin to shin. You guys see this? Shin to shin. and he's gonna get his arm around the back of my knee. Now he can hug it really tight if he wants, he can be kind of loose. You could try different things, okay? My job as the top player is I'm gonna look to disconnect my leg. So I wanna get my leg free. Do you want me to move? Here, we'll spin. Okay, you guys see that?
So we had some kids that couldn't really see. Keeping an eye on the kids, seeing, just responding. They don't need to shout. If you're on top of what their needs are, you could just make the adjustments. Oh shoot, you know what? That kid can't see. Let me just turn.
Shin to shin. Here, reset real quick. So I'm gonna walk in. He's gonna go shin to shin.
Show it again.
And then he's gonna wrap his arm around my leg.
This is new for a lot of the kids.
From here, my job is I'm gonna look to figure out a way to clear my leg out of the situation. And then my job is to get on top of him and pin him to the floor around his legs. If I do that, I win. Hold on a second, okay?
Had a raised hand.
The bottom player, his job is to destabilize me. Meaning his job is to put me on my butt and come up on top. Or if he just stands up at any point, he also wins.
I usually play that regardless, the stand-up part, but that's critical with the kids because the newer kids don't drive forward and don't hold each other down. And especially like the new kids, sometimes you have kids that are afraid to put pressure on the other person. So that's a simple way to negate that. Like they'll just stand up, so you better hold them down, right? And it helps them engage because sometimes the kids will, I'm sure if you teach kids class, you've seen this, they'll just run around over and over and over again when they're trying to pass instead of connecting. And so if you just create the stipulation that the bottom player stands up, they win, suddenly the standing player has to engage, which creates, good jiu-jitsu moments.
He can disconnect and just stand up. That's a win for him too. Okay? What's your question?
What if you get him on your back when he's still attached to your leg?
As the top player, that's a really good thing, and I think you should do that.
So the question was, what happens if you put the bottom player on their back while you're still connected to their shin? I don't know if it's too quiet or whatever. Excellent question.
But I want you to get chest to chest or chest to back pin, okay? But you should definitely look to put him on his back. That's a really good thing to do.
Can you put him on his back while he's holding your leg?
Absolutely.
Can you put him on his back while he's holding your leg?
Detach your leg?
Yep.
And then detach your leg afterwards.
You can do it in any order that you'd like, okay? You can even not detach your leg until the very end. But I eventually want you in front of his hips, and if your leg's still attached, it's technically not in front of his hips. Does that make sense? Great question.
Excellent question, right? And that's a little bit of an older kid, but they're paying attention, they're watching, they're thinking about the game. It's exactly what I want, all right? Now we're kind of in the groove of things.
Any other questions? Does everybody know how we're starting?
Yeah.
How are we starting?
Again, engaging them, making sure that they're paying attention.
Go ahead. How are we starting?
Shin to shin and wrap around.
With the arm? Perfect. This is it. All right. We're going to do 3 minutes for this one. Unless, do you guys like the 6 minutes or you want to do 3 minutes?
6.
We'll do 6. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
All right. They wanted to do 6. Fine with me. 6 minutes is a lot for kids. But it's their first day back. They're being really, really good. And they're good when they roll. They're good when they train. That's not even a problem. So if I can give them more opportunities to do the right thing, it creates a better classroom situation. And again, it's our first day back. So I'm a little bit more concerned with the classroom management today than the jiu-jitsu. However, we're getting great jiu-jitsu in here. We're trying something. This is a new thing for them, right? They haven't done this before. They've played guard and things, but we haven't started in shin to shin before with this group. So that was something different for them.
All right, guys.
All right, last one.
Don't touch each other, please.
Can't even recall what happened. I'm sure they're just touching each other. Shouldn't have been. Just real quick, no need to get crazy. Just a real quick correction, right back to class.
Guys, I don't know what's happening, but people are starting to scream. Yeah.
People were screaming during the games. There's like 2 kids in there particular that are screaming. There is a time and a place to address it with the whole class, and there's a time and a place to address it with the individual. Typically, I like to address it. It just depends. In this situation, it was happened during the rolling, so I couldn't tell exactly who was doing the screaming. So I mean, I knew who it was, but I didn't catch them doing it. So I couldn't like for sure kind of like lay into them. So I'll address with the whole class. It's a behavior issue. I don't like it. Other kids don't like it. It prevents me from being able to keep people safe, right? Because I can't hear if anybody's tapping, which I'm sure.
It's funny. If you scream, you're done with jiu-jitsu for the day. Okay, so if I hear anybody screaming again, you're done. There's no reason to scream. Coach Dan and I need to be able to hear the room if somebody is actually getting hurt. Okay?
Coach what?
Coach Dan and I.
Coach Dan?
Yes.
Coach.
All right.
First time you said what?
Yeah, you don't have to ask. It's in between the rounds. Okay. Oh, but you're waiting. But you're in line though. So go have a seat. The clock's the battery's dead, so we just took the clock
Lots
off.
of questions.
The battery is dead.
This is so I don't have to take these questions. This is sometimes it's probably better just not take questions, right? But it is what it is. They're little kids. They want to hear. They want to know stuff.
So we took the clock off. Okay.
There's somebody in a bracelet on.
Just turn on the camera.
Just
There was a bracelet on the floor.
thanks. You just right up there, bud. I'll take care of it after. Thank you.
So the kids are still filtering in. So I started the camera.
All right, guys, listen up. So next game.
Now we start.
We're gonna. Guys, why do I have to keep stopping? All right, we're gonna practice sitting quietly.
There was one kid talking now. So I'm not going to, the rest of the class, like immediately, we've done that before where I've stopped and like we just sat for a minute, like twice in the last year. And so it like the rest of the kids are like, dude, this is terrible. Don't want to do this. They'll right away, they'll be like, okay, sit quietly. This one kid was not responding and he was the one that was touching the other kid. He was the one that was screaming. This is like kind of like the third string.
Here, bud, do me a favor. Come here, go sit over there. Come on, yep, you, stand up, go sit over there.
Now, this is also a problem on my fault. I only see these kids once a week and I haven't seen them in a month and I have a really hard time with names. Knowing their names is critical. I really don't have an excuse for this. It's hard. It's a skill that I struggle with in general. And I haven't seen them in a month. So it's hard for me. If I know this kid's name, it's a lot easier they respond a lot better to you giving them corrections. Just straight up, right? You have a personal connection with them. Now, he doesn't know this, but it does impact the interactions.
Have a seat. Nope, right over there in the corner. Have a seat.
Now, that sounds bad. That was the next available spot. So in the corner. It's not like I'm sending him to the corner because he's bad. That was just the next available spot. So I'm not advocating like you're in the corner. Like that's not. It was just the available spot for him.
Okay, next game. I'm gonna start on Coach Dan's back. Okay, so he's gonna sit. Let's just shift over here just a little bit. Yeah. So I'm gonna get chest to back connection, covered hips with my legs. All right, one hand over, one hand under. Okay, back control. All right. This one, we haven't done this yet in here, but I know you guys have worked it. We're gonna look for a finish with a choke. Okay, so those of you that are new to this.
So most of the room has done these, but some of them have not. We have some kids that have been only training for like a month or two.
All right. What I'm looking to do, anytime we try to submit the other player with a choke, what we're trying to do is completely surround their neck with an arm or something and squeeze. So that might look like this. This is a really common one where I go all the way around his neck. I take my arm and I squeeze. What did he do? Okay. If you feel uncomfortable, if you can't breathe, if it hurts, it's definitely going to hurt. It doesn't feel good. Just tap and then reset. Okay? Any questions? Yes. Submit. Yep. Sorry, I was asking a question right now, guys. I don't know why anyone else is talking.
He raised his hand and I was interacting with him. So that's the part where it kind of sucks that they're not on camera. So you can't see the eye contact and like the head nods. It's just a quick, like you see a hand go up. I'm doing this. I mean, we all know that is a confirmation. Like, okay, yeah, go ahead, bud. Go ahead and talk.
So I'm sorry. I want to hear your question, and I want your classmates and your teammates to be respectful.
The kid that I'm talking to right now, he used to be the most like kind of off the wall. Let's go, 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 go. Really good kid, but like go, go, go. So the fact that he's sitting and raising his hand, which he's been excellent for like half a year now, right? Like it's not a problem, but I want to like really emphasize good behaviors with him because it shows the rest of the kids like, wow, that's a lot of growth, right?
Thank you. Go ahead.
Does the front person have to break out?
Yeah. I didn't get to the front person, but I just want to clarify for the show.
Older kids, they want to go, right? They want to go.
I know some of us haven't done it. Yeah, bud, what's up?
And if you choke him, do he lost?
Yeah, so
as one of the younger kids, right? We're going from like the oldest kid to the youngest kid. You said if you choke him, does he lost, right? Very cute.
The goal of jiu-jitsu is the ultimate goal is to submit the other person. If he taps out, the other person wins. So I'm making him give up.
And how do you win?
How does he win this game? He can win this game by anytime I'm behind somebody. What's the game plan, guys? What should he? What are the two things he should do?
Reinforcing this in the beginning.
Right, and what does that escape look like? What are the two things he needs to do?
Again,
remove the grips, and then what's the other thing he needs to do? What does that look like? What does get out mean? What does that look like? He broke the grips, but is he safe? No. What does he need to do?
Remove the hooks.
Anytime someone is...
So no one's getting the answer. They said remove the hooks. Those are all good things, but I'm looking for remove the grips or remove the connections and turn and face. And they're not getting it, and that's okay. So I'm not going to let them sit there forever. I let them try to guess a little bit, and then I just remind them. I tell them again, it takes time, right? They got it. They didn't get it. We did it at the beginning of class. They didn't get it now. Just takes time.
Behind you, you have two things you need to do. One thing just said, which is remove the grips, break the connections. The second thing always is turn and face them. Okay? If he can break the grips and turn and face me, he wins. Okay? Guys, whenever your back is taken, that's what you need to do. Okay? Dan, can you stand up real quick? Go stand. Can you turn around? Or actually, here, you face me. Okay, guys, we're gonna fight. Hold on. Do you think this is a good starting point for me? No. What should I do? What should I do? Face him, right? What's gonna happen? I'm like, all right, Dan, let's go. Right? What's gonna happen to me? You're gonna punch me in the back of the head, and I'm done, right? I gotta face him. Okay?
Be silly. It's you don't need to it's a very silly example, a very obvious example, but that's what you want to do with the kids, right? You want to make it very obvious.
All right, guys, we got the game? Yeah. All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
So the question, I don't know. I didn't even hear the question. It was probably something about my camera or something. So I think he said that my camera wasn't recording, just, being, just trying to mess with me. And you just ignore it, move on, right? The class is almost over, so I'm kind of not rushing, but we have plenty of time, but I also don't want to just like entertain things like that at that moment. And yeah, that's all I got for today. It was a 45-minute class. That's not an hour class. So if it was an hour, probably get one more in. 4 games, not ideal. I usually like to get in 5 to 6 games with the kids, but these were also all 6-minute rounds. So I usually do 3-minute rounds with the kids, 3 or 6 minutes, depending, like if they're flip-flopping, 3 and 3. But these guys have worked up to a point where they can switch on their own, which is great. When I first started with them, they could not, right? We had to do 3 minutes. One person did the whole thing, and then we switched, and then 3 minutes, the other person did the other thing, which takes a little bit more time because you have to stop the round in between and reset. Even if you do it real quick, it's still, 10, 20 seconds that you're losing there. And that adds up, right? So just some quick takeaways. Make sure you come to class prepared and have a plan, know their names, and then figure out what are the things that you want them to do every class as far as instruction goes. So do you want them seated? Do you want them standing? Do you want them at attention? Whatever it is, I'm not going to judge you for it, right? This works for me. This works for my class. This works for my students and my style of teaching. You got to figure out what works for you, but remind them of those things and reward good behavior, right? Like high fives, positive reinforcement, all those things go a long way, right? Me just smiling at them like that, that is the positive reinforcement. Also, you're not seeing it right now, but then during the actual play, while they're actually training, always going around high-fiving, excellent job, keep that up. Hey, bud, what's reset here? You're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. Remember what we're supposed to do. Remind me, can you tell me what we're doing? Awesome, great job, all that kind of stuff. I don't have any problems with like kids hurting each other or going wild or doing anything they're not supposed to do. Every now and then you have some things that you got to work on, like the kids were screaming. You just address it real quick. Kids will run around the room. You address it real quick. It's few and far between. It doesn't happen that often because you have a good rapport and you do all these things. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Let me know if you enjoyed this. This went a lot longer than I expected it to. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see me actually film a class like from start to finish with the kids in it. I would love to do that. I don't know if that's something that you guys want to see. If you have any questions at any time, please let me know. If you're in the area, if you're in the like lower Connecticut, New York City area, and you want me to come teach a kids class, and just like, not even from the jiu-jitsu side of things, but from the behavior side of things, hit me up. I'd be more than happy to. Okay. I love this stuff. I love teaching. I love teaching other people that want to teach. I love helping coaches out. And this is stuff that doesn't necessarily have to do anything with jiu-jitsu. It's working with kids, right? And that's something that I do take seriously and love to do. All right, I got to go teach. Bye, guys. Oh, like, comment, subscribe. I said comment, but like and subscribe too. And I'll see you guys next time.